Sanchez was released after being held in question for an hour. Officers told him that it was the woman working at the gift shop who made the 911 call and reported that he was carrying a rifle. In Lake Charles, Josh Meny, KTC TV3. Hundreds of locals from the surrounding community showed up to the Point Blue area today to search for Bryson Thibodeau. He's been missing since 11:30 a.m. on Friday. His father says Bryson left their house without the father even knowing. Not only were two men shot on the front porch on the house across from me, a bullet actually went through this window and struck a man inside. Chris, St. Martin Parish President Chester Cedars told me today that the city of Youngsville has been nothing but transparent and cordial with him in discussing the concept. But Cedars says that as of right now, Youngsville does not have a valid reason to move forward with the annexation. We're at Holman Aviation, which shares the runway with Great Falls International Airport, checking out Boeing's MH-139, which could be the newest addition to the Air Force's helicopter fleet.
When your child goes missing, you're in a panic. It's a crisis situation. You may not think clearly. This will do the thinking for you. You've already preloaded that information.
Say you're shopping in the mall with your children and one of them disappears. With a few clicks on the FBI's Child ID app, you can send that vital information to law enforcement.
Ready? That's a good one.
A Lafayette veteran is being recognized as a hero by the family of a pilot who he saved in Laos in the 1970s. During that time, he worked for Air America. And as Justice Henderson reports, he says he was simply doing his job. Shippers across the state have been complaining about the low prices they've been getting when selling their shrimp to the public. But there's a difference when it comes to bigger boats like the St. June behind me that go deeper out into the Gulf and sell their shrimp to processing plants. The truly absurd and sad thing about the shooting that happened in front of First Baptist in Crowley on Saturday morning is that it happened during the funeral of 26-year-old Bryden Gray, a Crowley man who was shot nearly 2 weeks ago. And to make things sadder, it also happened during the funeral of his mother, who died of natural causes just a few days later. The city of Lafayette has benefited greatly from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Since 1966, the city has received 21 LWCF grants for a total of $1.56 million. Additionally, there's been 16 other LWCF grants for a total of $600,000 going towards parks in the parish and within Lafayette City proper. Vapor Viper Vapes recently got this e-juice containing nicotine. It's watermelon candy flavored. Now, even the store manager thinks that this is the type of product that the FDA is talking about when they say vapor companies are targeting teenagers. At new bookstores, you'll find the latest novels by famous authors like James Patterson, but what's really cool about used bookstores like Alexander Books is that you'll find large selections of their earlier works that you just won't find at box stores. These wooden pylons are what supports the beam and therefore the road surface of the west end of the Judson Walsh Bridge. However, as you can see, they're rotted on the inside, making this end of the bridge unsafe for traffic. Good evening. Thanks for choosing Acadiana's News Channel at 10. I'm Josh Meny. 5 people from Acadiana walk away from a crashed plane with just scratches and bruises. The pilot landing in a wooded area in Alabama. Big Spring Skate Park is a community investment project that offers kids a safe environment to recreate, but also develop life skills that are inherent to skateboarding, such as dedication and learning how to manage adversity. I'm in this street-legal Honda S2000 and officials are allowing me to run the course. Now, drivers say they love this sport for the adrenaline rush, but also because of the challenge. Drivers get limited laps to master the course and get the fastest time in their category and overall. I drove Lane's tuned-up Honda Street Touring Roadster. I thought I was fast, but then I sat in the passenger seat while Lane took a spin. The National Forest culturists, or tree experts, say the tree stand at the Crystal Lake campground area is old, with trees ranging from 250 to 280 years in age. Younger trees have the vigor to fight against the diseases that are common in this area, but older trees don't have the defenses, making them much more susceptible to falling. The Chief Mountain Hotshots, based out of the Blackfeet Reservation, fight fires all around the world. Last year, during the 2016 fire season, they battled fires in New Mexico, Colorado, Tennessee, and more. This year, they fought 19 fires and they've all been inside Montana. Right now, the Port Barre Lions Club is finishing up a giant pot of jambalaya that can serve up to 400 people. Now, tonight is family night, so admission is free, but it costs $25 to get on the rides. Hopefully, everyone here will get a bowl of that jambalaya to stay warm while they're enjoying the festival and the rides.
We start out with our Josh Meny in Karen Crow, where some residents say what they heard today is something they never want to hear again. Josh.
Marcel, the residents I spoke to say the wind started picking up, and before they could even react, the twister dropped down and large objects began flying through the air.
Weather usually doesn't scare me, but I was painting, and I had the blinds open, and I just saw the wind pick up through the window, and all of a sudden it was like just a howling. Different than anything I've ever heard before.
Garrett LaSalle's home surveillance cam caught some of the extreme wind force. Lynn Ray Leger's property was next in line as the twister barreled through the neighborhood. Multiple residents say a twister ripped through this Karen Crow neighborhood, taking off the entire roof of this brick and mortar pump house, lodging pieces of it deep into the ground. Just yards away, Leger's barbecue gazebo was also totaled.
I feel blessed because this is nothing. I mean, I still have a roof over my head, and otherwise I wouldn't. And all this is minor damage.
Ernie Fontenot's property was next.
Coming from the southwest, it came across heading this way. Limbs are broken, and then coming this way, it tore off some big limbs off my oak tree and just kept on moving out that way, and no one got hurt. Everybody's safe, so, you know, thank God that's all that happened.
Every resident we spoke to remarked the same thing, which is how fortunate and astounding it was that the twister didn't directly hit any of their homes. Reporting live in Karen Crow, Josh Meny, KTC TV3.
Don't shoot.
Crazy?
Are you get out. Are you nuts?
Now the police are here.
Yeah.
This all comes from an incident on Tuesday in which Gerard's pit bulls got out of the backyard, ran across to the neighbor's street. The owner shot Gerard's dog, Queen, to death. Queen was dying in Gerard's arm.
What are you doing? Why did you shot her? The dogs are not even fighting no more. I have them out.
French pop musician Gerald Jean Laurent's three dogs put neighbor Lonnie Simoneau's Rottweiler Diesel in the vet hospital for 3 days. Lonnie Simoneau's wife Angela was there.
My husband told him, I swear to God, at least 20 times to get his damn dog off of his dog. He's killing him.
I shot the dog that was on her neck because it was killing my dog. I had no choice.
Gerald Laurent says when he asked Simoneau why he would do such a thing after knowing him as a neighbor for many years, Laurent says Simoneau used a racial slur aimed at Laurent's black French husband.
You know, he was very upset. I wouldn't even doubt that. I don't really think the word is really what the problem is here.
What I told you? What I told you, Mike?
He was angry. Wouldn't you be angry?
Simoneau denies any implication that he shot Gerard's dog out of prejudice.
Listen, I don't know what I said in the heat of the moment. I was trying to get the guy to get it off her neck so she would live.
Gerard's followers have shown an outpouring of support.
Everybody knew my dog because on social media, you know, they follow the story when we find her on the street, you know, when we rescue her, and when when we try to have just her with us, just, you know, family. She gave us puppies, and I don't know, there's people who saying that maybe she saved my life.
That was my first concern and my only concern. It's he discharged his arm next to my son. I mean, if my son was moving, he was killed.
Gerard Laurent is facing multiple animal at large and animal nuisance charges from both Tuesday's and Saturday's incidents. His dogs are in the custody of animal control. In Rain, Josh Meny, KTC TV3. Champine's Cajun Swamp Tours on the Cypress Island Preserve on Lake Martin. The main draw? Alligators.
Just that one big alligator that was maybe 15 feet. It was just so big. It was amazing.
It's like 4 feet away from us. So.
Yeah.
Were you afraid?
No.
Were you afraid?
A little bit.
What kind of fear was going through your mind?
Everybody was leaning to take pictures, and I was like, don't do that.
Home to 205 different species of birds, proof of a healthy ecosystem, reptiles, and a rich biodiversity of trees and plant life.
Everything is so green and lush, and as you get into Louisiana, it's even more so. And they couldn't believe all the trees and how green everything is. Back in Colorado, it's brownish colored.
The tour guides tell us this plant is called Spanish moss because when the Acadians came down, they said this plant looks like the beard of a Spanish conquistador. What do you think?
No.
We met tourists from Australia, France, and Holland, all coming to Acadiana.
In Holland, it's village after village after town after village after town. And here you can drive for perhaps for hours and see just the landscape. So in Holland, it's impossible.
Now, back in the day, whenever our settlers came down from Nova Scotia, there were no roads or highways. So what they had to do, y'all, is they had to build their homes along the higher parts of the bayous. They pretty much utilized the bayous as their roads and highways.
You gotta bend the knees. Bend the knees for shocks.
The skin of an alligator, y'all, is actually very sensitive, and they can actually feel and sense vibrations in the water up to a mile away.
One of the amazing things I've noticed on this swamp tour of the Cypress Island Preserve is that there's no mosquitoes, and the reason for that is the tubalo gum tree right here, which drops a sap into the water, which acts as a repellent for mosquitoes. Champine's Cajun Swamp Tours offers secure parking, restrooms, lunch, fishing supplies, and more. They're the primo setup on Lake Martin because the Champines are from here. It's their backyard.
You know, people took my trip years ago and still coming back today, and they're still sending people to me.
In St. Martin Parish, Josh Meny, KTC TV3.